Hi there. Welcome to another special episode of Story Time with Ms. B. Ms. B. Now, today I want to cater to my Busy Bee chapter readers. Yes, we do have some Busy Bee readers that are into chapter books. Well, I came across another one at Z Librairie, and I also saw it. Someone had posted it on Instagram. It's awesome. It's called J.D. and the Great Barber Battle by J. Dillard, illustrated by Akeem S. Roberts. Who's the best barber in town? Well, we're going to find out. And let's open it so we can see the front cover and the back cover. The back cover says, JD wants to prove that he and his clippers are unmatched. Will his hair designs win the great barber battle? Well, let's see. Remember, this is the spine of the book. It gives us the author and the illustrator and where you can find it in the library. Now, also on the inside cover tells us, gives us a little clue about what the story's about. So I'll read that, and then I think we'll have time for me to read all of chapter 1, so that after chapter 1, you'll say, oh, Mom, Dad, I've got to get to the library to get this book. Miss B recommended it. So on the inside cover, it says, JD has a big problem. It's the night before the start of third grade, and his mom has just given him his first and worst haircut. When the steady stream of insults from the entire student body of Douglas Elementary becomes too much for JD, he takes matters into his own hands and discovers that, unlike his mom, he's a genius with the clippers. His work makes him the talk of the town and brings him enough hair business to open a barber shop from his bedroom. But when Henry Jr., the owner of the only official local barber shop, realizes he's losing clients to JD, he tries to shut him down for good. Oh my goodness, you got to get this book so you can see what happens. JD decides there's only one way to prove who's the best barber in all of Meridian, Mississippi. Let the people decide in a great barber battle. And that's what it says. Can you see that? Might be a little bit of a reflection there. And then on the inside back cover, that's where they usually talk about a little bit about the author and a little bit about the illustrator, so that you'll know who they are in case they write more books, and then you'll be able to know more about them then. Now, are you ready for chapter 1? Remember, in our last special episode for chapter readers, Miss B said, I'm going to read an excerpt from the book. Hey, remember, that big word excerpt means just a little portion. We're just going to read just a little part so that you will get an idea of what the book is about. And then when you go to the library and look for the book, you'll say, oh, that's the book Miss B read on story time. Aren't you excited? Yes. Here we go. Let's jump right into it. Chapter 1. Now remember, chapter books don't usually have a lot of illustrations, but if there is one in chapter 1, I'll be sure to let you know so that you can see it. Ready? Ready. Boom. Here we go. Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is called A Crooked Fade. A crooked fade. That means it's not straight, but it's crooked. And for you barbers out there, you know what fade means, right? Fades, it's a little closer to your head. It's a little closer to your scalp. Okay, so Miss B had a fade once. I mean, I had it all the way down. Okay, I digress. Here we go. You ready? A Crooked Fade, chapter 1. Sit still and look straight into the mirror, my mom said as she turned on a set of clippers. The buzzing sound made me a little nervous. I shifted on my stool in the one bathroom my entire family of six, three adults and three kids, shared. It was the Sunday night before the start of third grade, and I was in the middle of a family tradition. In the Jones family, none of us kids got our hair cut before we turned 9. Up until now, my mom always cornrowed my hair, and I liked it that way. But I was excited for my first real haircut. I had been checking out my friends' haircuts all summer for ideas. My friend Xavier, who lived across the street, had his cool dad cut his hair into the most amazing high top fade. But Mr. Boom was an ex-Marine and strict. He made it clear his time and his money were only for his kids. Even when he took us all for ice cream, he made sure everybody's parents gave their kids enough money to pay for our own stuff. No way was I ever asking him for anything. Come back with $5, I imagined him saying if I asked him for a haircut. And I'd want to yell back, "Your prices are too steep." But not with Mr. Boom. I'd just say, "Yes, sir," to everything. My best friend Jordan, who lived next door, also had cool hair thanks to his older brother Nijah. Nijah had already graduated from college. He would come home after work, change into his clothes that were straight fire, and sometimes cut his and Jordan's hair. He had skills and could cut designs like playing cards into the back of his head. I would watch him and study his technique for hours, but it seemed to be happening less and less. He was a grown man with a full-time job, a new car, and a girlfriend. Nijah didn't have time to cut hair all day. I didn't just want to copy one for my friends' haircuts, though. I had so much hair that maybe I could get a small afro with an edge up like Steph Curry. Or even something wilder like that quarterback on the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Jordan had an iPhone, and sometimes I would look on his Instagram account at barber hashtags. I loved the guy who cut designs into people's heads and then colored in the outline with the pencil. I was good at art. I always kept a set of colored pencils and paper in my backpack so I could draw whenever I felt like it. After I saw those Instagrams, I started drawing myself with all types of Marvel characters cut into the back of my head. Deep down, I knew I could never get the Amazing Spider-Man or any of those other styles I really liked, especially since there was only one barbershop in town, Hart and Son. They offered 3 types of kids' haircuts: a baldy, a Caesar, or a fade. Sometimes I'd go with my friends on Saturdays, and getting a haircut there took longer than it did to sit through one of Pastor Sunday's sermons. Your day was shot to pieces. I figured my mom could manage something simple, and plus I knew we did not have extra money to spend. "I want a basic fade," I told my mom. I asked for her phone and showed her a picture of Michael B. Jordan, the villain from the movie Black Panther. "Okay, baby," she said. "I can't believe you're going to third grade." And here's one picture of mommy taking JD's hair down. That's the cornrow style, braided, and she's taking his hair down. You see all that hair? Let's see what happens. I loved the weekly time my mom set aside to style my hair. My younger brother, my older sister, plus my grandparents lived with us. It was hard to get alone time with Mom, especially since she always seemed to be in school, even more than me. At first, she told us she was going back to school to become a nurse. But after spending 6 months working at the hospital, she quit. "I hate the hospital," Mom said one night after a long shift. "Everybody is not treated the same." I didn't know exactly what happened, but I used to overhear her talking to my granddad about people being turned away for not having insurance or patients being given pills they didn't need. So after she sat at the dinner table one night with tears in her eyes, Granddad told her if she hated the job that much, she just had to stop. There's plenty of other jobs in the world, he told her. I knew it was hard for her. Mom loved medicine, and her dream was to become a nurse and help sick people. It made me so proud to hear how great she was at it and how neat and clean she kept all the patients' rooms. It made me keep my bedroom extra clean too. So Mom went back to school to get something called an MBA, and her thick books that said anatomy now said things like Statistics 101 and management. She had told us she had seen a job opening in the mayor's office, but she needed this MBA thing to apply. Mom's super smart. She didn't always get 100 on her test, and she didn't expect us to, but she said the important thing was to always try as hard as you could. A couple of years ago, all of us moved in with my grandparents after my granddad had a heart attack. It'll just be for 2 months until Granddad feels better. Then we'll move back with my dad, Mom had told us. Well, 2 months turned into 2 years. Dad sent money sometimes, and Mom never said anything bad about him, but I didn't really know why they split up. They met when they were track stars at Mississippi Valley State. Even today, Mom had what she called her runner's legs. Sometimes she would race me and my sister around the big track at the local high school, and she'd remind us why her nickname as a kid had been Cheetah. So it was my mom, my older sister, Vanessa, my baby brother, Justin, and my grandparents, Mr. and Mrs. Slayton Evans, all in an old house built in the 1930s. Like most houses in Meridian, Mississippi, it had a closed-in porch so you could sit outside when it was hot, which was most days, and all the rooms were on one floor. Luckily, I still got my own room since Vanessa slept with Mom and Justin loved sleeping with my grandparents. Baby, did you hear me? My mom asked. I checked the time on her phone. It had been about 20 minutes already, and she'd finished cutting my hair. Well, what do you think? She said. I can't believe how grown you look. I stared into the mirror. What I saw was not good. My mom had cut my hair down all right, but my hairline looked like a hilltop or a mountain range. It definitely wasn't straight like I'd seen in pictures or on my friends. Oh, I can't go to school tomorrow looking like this, I told my mom. Nothing is wrong with your hair, she said. You are not missing out on the first day of school. Now, please get ready for bed. I sighed and my shoulders fell 3 inches as I reached for my toothbrush and started to get ready to brush my teeth. That night I couldn't sleep. Maybe I can fake being sick? My hair looked terrible. I didn't want anyone at school to see me like this. How many ways could the 3rd grade class of Douglas Elementary make fun of a bad haircut? Well, I was about to find out. And that's chapter 1. So as you can see, there's more. There's more. There's more. J.D. and the Great Barber Battle by J. Dillard with illustrations by Akeem S. Roberts. You've got to find out, and as you keep reading, you'll learn certain barber terms like fade and high top. If any of your parents or grandparents have heard of Kid and Play, one of the rappers wears a high top fade. And you can ask them, Mommy, what is Miss B talking about? A high top fade. Well, that's the important part of reading so we can learn about these things. But as you can see, I've got this from the library. So please check it out. It's exciting. It's a chapter book, J.D. and the Great Barber Battle by Jay Dillard, with illustrations by Akeem S. Roberts. Give yourselves a round of applause. Keep reading, keep learning, keep smiling, keep laughing. Reading is an adventure, and it's fun. Love you guys. Take care. See you next time in another episode of Story Time with Miss B.